The 3 biggest mistakes women make that push men away. Picture this: a woman is deeply in love. She gives her heart, her time, her effort. But instead of the man getting closer, he starts pulling away. She wonders what went wrong. She replays every moment in her head. She overthinks his words. She blames herself. She feels confused, hurt, and lost. And she asks herself one question: why did he leave when she did everything to make him happy? The truth is, many women make the same mistakes that push men away without even realizing it. It is not about being too loving. It is not about not being enough. It is about behaviors that, over time, make a man feel suffocated, unchallenged, or disconnected. The biggest mistakes are not loud and obvious. They are slow. They build up. And one day, the man wakes up and feels the need to leave. One mistake that ruins everything is making him the center of her world. At first, he loves the attention. He enjoys the effort. But then something shifts. She cancels plans for him. She stops seeing her friends. She loses the spark that made her unique. And suddenly, she is no longer the woman he fell for. She is now someone who depends on him for happiness. A man does not want to be a woman's entire world. He wants to be a part of her world. If he feels like her identity disappears into the relationship, he starts craving space. He begins to feel pressure. And instead of wanting to be closer, he pulls away. A woman who has her own passions, friendships, and dreams is naturally attractive. She has depth, she has energy, and she keeps a man interested because he sees that she is choosing him, not needing him. Another mistake that drives men away is expecting him to read her mind. She feels upset but does not say why. She wants him to act a certain way but does not communicate it. She assumes that if he loves her, he should just know. But men do not think like that. They need clear communication. A man does not sit there analyzing every expression or tone. He does not assume that silence means something deeper. If a woman hides her feelings hoping he will figure it out, she is setting herself up for disappointment. Instead of drawing him closer, this creates tension. He feels like he is always failing. He feels like nothing he does is enough. Over time, he grows distant because he feels drained. A healthy relationship needs honesty. If something is bothering her, she must say it. If she wants something, she must express it. Men appreciate clarity. They respect women who are direct. This builds trust. This creates connection. This keeps the relationship strong. The third mistake that makes men lose interest is constantly testing him. She plays games to see if he really cares. She makes him jealous to check if he will react. She gives silent treatments to see if he will chase her. But men do not respond well to tests. They see it as drama. They feel manipulated, and instead of proving their love, they start questioning why they are even in the relationship. A man wants peace. He wants a woman who trusts him, not one who constantly doubts him. If a woman is always looking for proof of love, it signals insecurity. And insecurity is exhausting. A man stays with a woman when he feels respected, valued, and trusted. If he is always being tested, he feels like he can never win. Eventually, he stops trying. Relationships do not fall apart overnight. They break down slowly. A woman might not even notice it happening, but the signs are there. He stops calling as often. He seems distant. He makes excuses. And before she knows it, he is gone. It is painful. It is frustrating. And it leaves her questioning everything. But the good news is, these mistakes can be avoided. A woman who has a life outside the relationship keeps a man's interest. A woman who communicates openly builds a deep emotional bond. A woman who trusts instead of testing creates a relationship that feels safe and strong. When a woman understands this, she stops chasing love. She starts attracting it, and the right man will never feel the need to pull away. So, how can a woman balance deep love and independence without making a man feel neglected? Loving deeply while maintaining independence is one of the most delicate balances a woman can navigate in a relationship. When a woman loves with her whole heart, it is natural to want to give everything to the person she cares about. She wants to be present. She wants to nurture. She wants to make her partner feel safe and cherished. But in doing so, there is a risk of losing herself in the process. Many women do not even realize when they start shifting their entire world around a man. It happens gradually. Small sacrifices turn into big ones. Personal goals start taking a back seat. Time that was once spent on hobbies, passions, and friendships now revolves around the relationship. At first, a man might appreciate the attention, but over time, something shifts. He may start feeling suffocated, not because he does not love her, but because he senses that her entire sense of happiness and fulfillment depends on him. That pressure, even if unspoken, begins to weigh on him, making him crave space. Meanwhile, she may feel hurt, wondering why the love and attention she is giving are not being fully appreciated. This cycle is where the struggle begins. A woman does not need to choose between deep love and independence. The key is understanding that men are drawn to women who have a strong sense of self. They admire women who have their own passions, their own direction, and their own lives outside the relationship. When a woman is confident in her individuality, it does not push a man away. It pulls him in. He sees her as someone with depth, someone who is not relying on him to complete her, but rather someone who is already whole. That wholeness is what keeps attraction alive. The moment a woman begins to center her entire identity around the relationship, the dynamic shifts, the energy changes. The woman who once had a vibrant, exciting life now becomes someone who is just waiting for her partner's time and attention. This is why maintaining independence is not just about having a separate life. It is about keeping the very essence of what made her attractive in the first place. A common fear that women have is that if they do not constantly show their love, their partner will feel neglected. The truth is, love is not proven through constant presence. It is not about always being available, always checking in, always making sure he feels needed. Love is also about trust. Trust that the connection is strong enough even when there is space between moments. Trust that he does not need to be reminded every hour of the day that he is loved in order to feel it. Men do not process love the same way women do. They appreciate moments of connection, but they also need moments to breathe, to pursue their own ambitions, to miss their partner. That feeling of missing someone is actually a powerful tool in keeping attraction alive. When a woman maintains her independence, she allows space for that to happen. She lets him see her thriving, growing, evolving. That keeps the energy in the relationship fresh. Maintaining independence does not mean shutting a man out or making him feel unimportant. It means keeping the things that make her feel alive. It means continuing to do what she loves, whether it is a career, a creative passion, or simply spending time with people who uplift her. It is about making choices that align with her values, not just adjusting to fit into his world. A woman who stands strong in her own life is not a woman who neglects her partner. She is a woman who inspires him. She brings something to the relationship that is beyond just companionship. She brings energy. She brings curiosity. She brings stories from her own experiences, not just reflections of his. This is what keeps a man engaged. He does not want a mirror. He wants a partner. There is a misconception that men pull away when a woman is too independent. That is not entirely true. What men struggle with is when a woman becomes distant in a way that feels like she no longer prioritizes the relationship. There is a difference between having a full life and creating emotional distance. Independence should not mean avoidance. It should not mean using busyness as a shield. A man still wants to feel valued, appreciated, and chosen. He just does not want to feel like he is responsible for being the sole source of her happiness. This is why communication plays a huge role. A woman can be deeply in love while still setting clear expectations for herself and her partner. She can express affection without sacrificing her personal time. She can reassure him that he matters while still holding on to her own sense of purpose. The balance is not about withholding love. It is about giving love in a way that is sustainable. When a woman loses herself in a relationship, she starts expecting the man to fill the spaces she once filled herself. She looks to him for validation, for reassurance, for excitement. That weight can be overwhelming. A man does not want to be put in the position of keeping someone else's sense of self afloat. That is not love. That is dependence. True love exists when two people come together, not because they need each other to feel whole, but because they choose to walk the path of life together while still holding on to their individual strength. A woman who is confident in her own skin, does not make a man feel like he is obligated to keep her world turning. She makes him feel lucky to be part of her world. That difference changes everything. One of the simplest ways a woman can maintain this balance is by remembering who she was before the relationship began. What made her happy? What made her feel confident? What did she enjoy doing that had nothing to do with anyone else? Those things should not disappear just because she has found love. They should remain not as an act of rebellion, but as an act of self-respect. A woman who loves deeply does not need to prove her love by giving up everything for someone else. She proves her love by being her best self and sharing that with her partner. That kind of love does not feel like a weight. It feels like a gift. So, why do men start craving space when they feel like a woman has become too emotionally dependent? Men are wired differently from women when it comes to emotional connection. A woman often wants to merge with the man she loves. She finds comfort in deep emotional closeness, in sharing her thoughts, her feelings, and her daily life. She may not even realize she is leaning too much on him. To her, it feels natural to want to be close, to check in, to share everything. But to a man, that kind of constant emotional reliance can start to feel overwhelming. He starts feeling like he is responsible for her happiness, her mood, and her emotional security. That is when he begins pulling away. It is not because he does not love her. It is because he needs to breathe. Men process emotions differently. When they feel pressured, they do not always talk about it. Instead, they withdraw. They create space, not necessarily because they want to, but because they need to regain a sense of balance. If a woman reacts by clinging harder, by demanding more reassurance, or by panicking that she is losing him, it only makes him want to pull away more. This is the cycle that so many couples fall into. She needs more from him. He needs more space. The harder she tries to close the gap, the further he feels the need to go. It is not because he is heartless. It is because he is human. Emotional dependence can be subtle. It does not always show up in obvious ways. Sometimes it looks like needing constant reassurance. Other times it shows up as over-analyzing his every word and action, looking for hidden meanings that are not there. It can be the need to always know where he is, what he is doing, or who he is with. It can be getting upset when he wants to do things without her, or feeling uneasy when he does not respond to a message quickly. It can be losing interest in personal passions and instead making the relationship the main source of fulfillment. When a man senses that a woman has shifted her entire emotional well-being onto him, it triggers something in him. He might not be able to articulate it, but he feels it, and that feeling makes him crave space. A man wants to feel needed, but he does not want to feel like he is the only thing holding a woman together. There is a huge difference between being loved and being relied upon for emotional survival. When a woman makes a man the sole focus of her happiness, he starts feeling pressure that he never signed up for. Love should feel like freedom, not obligation. A man wants to be chosen because a woman genuinely enjoys being with him, not because she feels incomplete without him. When he starts to feel like she is dependent on him for her emotional state, the relationship stops feeling light. It stops feeling effortless. It starts feeling like a responsibility that drains him instead of a connection that excites him. That is when he begins to withdraw. Craving space is not a sign that a man does not care. It is a sign that he needs to rebalance himself. When he feels like he cannot breathe emotionally, he looks for ways to create distance. He might become less responsive. He might start making more plans without her. He might seem less engaged in conversations. This is his way of trying to restore a sense of emotional independence. The mistake many women make in this moment is panicking and reacting out of fear. They try harder to pull him back in, thinking that if they just show more love, express more concern, or ask more questions, he will stop pulling away. But that approach has the opposite effect. Men do not respond well to pressure in relationships. They thrive when they feel a sense of autonomy, when they know that they are with a woman who loves them but does not need them to function. When a woman maintains her own identity, her own passions, and her own emotional stability, a man feels safe in the relationship. He does not feel trapped. He does not feel burdened. He feels free to love her fully, without the fear that she will crumble if he is not constantly reassuring her. The irony is that the more space a woman gives a man, the less space he actually needs. When he knows that he is not being emotionally smothered, he feels more at ease. He feels more willing to engage, to connect, and to give. When he does take space, he comes back on his own, not because he is being pulled, but because he genuinely wants to. That is the difference between a healthy relationship and one built on emotional dependence. A woman who has her own sense of self is deeply attractive to a man. She does not panic when he needs a moment to himself because she is secure enough to know that space is not the same as rejection. She does not look to him to be her emotional anchor because she has already anchored herself. That kind of emotional strength keeps a man drawn in. He does not feel the need to escape because he knows he is with someone who loves him without leaning too heavily on him. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to catch all our latest content. Got questions or feedback? Drop them in the comments section and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.